Daniel had a problem he didn't know he had. He was 34, making $88,000 a year, contributing to his 401k, paying his bills on time. By every visible measure, he was doing the responsible thing. He wasn't buying designer bags. He wasn't leasing a BMW. He wasn't blowing money on bottles at clubs. He was, by his own description, pretty boring with money. So when his girlfriend suggested they sit down and actually list every subscription they were paying for, he figured it would take maybe 10 minutes. They'd find a streaming service they forgot about, cancel it, feel good about themselves. Done. It took 47 minutes. Not because they were disorganized, because the list kept going. Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Spotify, Apple Music, from a free trial 2 years ago that nobody canceled. Amazon Prime Video, billed separately somehow. iCloud storage, 2 accounts. Google One, Adobe Creative Cloud, from a project Daniel did in 2021. A meal kit service they used 3 times. A meditation app, a fitness app, a different fitness app, a news subscription, a wine club that shipped bottles every month to an address they no longer lived at. LinkedIn Premium, a password manager, a VPN, an antivirus software that renewed automatically every October, a cloud backup service, a fantasy sports app, Duolingo Plus from when Daniel was going to learn Portuguese. He was not going to learn Portuguese. When they added it up, the total was $384 per month, $4,608 per year. Leaving their bank account in automatic silence, $12 here, $15 there, $47 somewhere else, each charge small enough to feel irrelevant, each charge invisible enough to never trigger a real decision. Daniel was not a reckless spender. Daniel was a perfect customer. My name is Nate, and I spend way too much time thinking about how the subscription economy was specifically engineered to extract maximum money from people who consider themselves financially responsible. If you have ever added up your subscriptions and been genuinely shocked by the number, if you have ever paid for something for months without using it once, if you have ever thought, well, it's only $12, hit that subscribe button. Because what I'm about to show you is not a budgeting problem. It is not a discipline problem. It is a carefully constructed psychological and financial system designed by very smart people to make sure you never cancel, never notice, and never calculate what the total is actually costing your future. The subscription economy is the most successful wealth extraction machine ever built for the middle class, and it is hiding in plain statement on your bank statement right now. Here is what you need to understand first. The subscription model did not become the dominant business model in America because it's better for consumers. It became dominant because it is dramatically, almost obscenely better for companies. Before subscriptions, a software company sold you a product once. You paid $200 for Microsoft Office. You used it for 5 years. They had to earn your money again when they released a new version worth buying. The relationship had natural accountability built into it. They had to keep earning your business. Now they charge you $10 a month, every month, automatically, without asking. And here is what that does to their revenue math. If 1 million customers buy a $200 product once, the company makes $200 million. If 1 million customers pay $10 a month and only 15% cancel in any given year, the company makes $120 million in year 1, $102 million in year 2, $87 million in year 3. Over 5 years, they make more than $480 million from the same customer base that previously generated $200 million. The subscription model more than doubles their lifetime revenue per customer, not because they're delivering more value, but because they've removed the moment of decision. There is no renewal conversation. There is no moment where you consciously choose to keep paying. The default is continuation. The burden of action is on you to cancel, and they have designed every possible friction into that cancellation process. while removing every possible friction from the initial sign-up. This is not an accident. This is the business model. And the numbers at the societal level are genuinely staggering. According to a 2023 report from Resubscribe, a subscription analytics firm, the average American household now pays for 12 subscription services. The average American dramatically underestimates this number. When surveyed, most people guess they have around 4 or 5 subscriptions. They have 12. According to data from Chase Bank, which analyzed actual transaction data from millions of accounts, Americans collectively spend over $2.4 trillion annually on subscription services. That number has grown 435% in the last decade. And a 2022 survey from West Monroe Partners found that 84% of Americans underestimate how much they spend on subscriptions monthly. The average American thinks they spend $86 per month. The actual average is $219. Write that down. The average American is wrong about their subscription spending by $133 per month. That is not a small rounding error. That is a systematic blind spot that the subscription economy has deliberately cultivated. Let me show you exactly how they do it. Because the psychological engineering behind subscription retention is as sophisticated as anything in consumer marketing. The first mechanism is what behavioral economists call the pain of paying. Research from Drazen Prelec and Duncan Symester at MIT found that paying for something with cash activates the same regions of the brain associated with physical pain. Watching money leave your wallet hurts, even slightly. This pain creates natural spending restraint. You think twice. You consider the purchase. You feel the cost. Subscriptions are specifically designed to eliminate this pain entirely. The charge happens automatically, usually at night, usually on a date you don't remember, for an amount that blends into the background noise of your bank statement. There is no moment of decision. There is no pain signal. The money leaves without you ever consciously choosing to spend it. Over months and years, this painless extraction adds up to numbers that would horrify you if you paid them all at once. But because they arrive in $12 increments, your brain never registers the true cost. The second mechanism is something researchers call the sunk cost seduction combined with optimism bias. When you sign up for a subscription, especially one that promises self-improvement, the gym app, the language learning platform, the meditation service, you're not just buying what it currently offers. You're buying a vision of your future self. The person who meditates every morning, the person who learns Portuguese, the person who does home workouts consistently. You pay for the aspirational version of yourself. And even when the actual usage never materializes, you keep paying because canceling feels like giving up on that future self. Canceling the fitness app feels like admitting you're not the person who works out. So you keep it, and you don't use it. And the company keeps charging you for the fantasy, which is, from a pure business perspective, the ideal customer relationship. Maximum revenue, zero service delivery cost. The third mechanism is price anchoring through fragmentation. $12 a month sounds like nothing. $15 sounds like nothing. $8, $7, $4, nothing, nothing, nothing. But you never see the total. You see each subscription in isolation, evaluated against the question, is this worth $12 a month? And the answer to that question is almost always yes, because $12 is objectively not a lot of money. The trap is that you are never asked the real question, which is, are all of these together worth $384 a month? That question has a very different answer. The fragmentation is intentional. It prevents you from ever confronting the aggregate. Now let me show you the number that changes everything. Because this is where the subscription wealth drain stops being a budgeting conversation and becomes a retirement conversation. Let's take Daniel's $384 per month and run it forward. $384 per month is $4,608 per year. If Daniel invested that $4,608 annually, starting at age 34, in a low-cost index fund averaging 8% annual returns, by the time he reaches 65, that money would have grown to approximately $573,000, over $500,000, from canceling subscriptions he wasn't fully using. But let's make this even more specific. Let's say Daniel doesn't have $384 in pure waste. Let's say he does a real audit and identifies only $150 per month in subscriptions he genuinely doesn't use or wouldn't miss. That's $1,800 per year. Invested at 8% for 31 years, that becomes $224,000. $224,000 from $150 a month. From canceling a wine club that ships to an address he doesn't live at anymore, an Adobe subscription from 2021, and a fitness app he hasn't opened since February. This is the actual cost of the subscription economy on individual wealth building, not the monthly number, the compounded lifetime number. Not $47, $47,000. Not $150, $224,000. The subscription industry has trained you to evaluate each charge in isolation, in the present moment, against a tiny dollar threshold where everything passes. But real financial analysis requires time. It requires compounding. It requires asking not what does this cost this month, but what does this cost my 65-year-old self? Every dollar you spend in your 30s has a compounded future value of roughly $8 to $10 by retirement, which means a $15 streaming service you don't watch isn't costing you $15. It's costing you $120 to $150 in future wealth every single month. Now here is where it gets more uncomfortable. Because the subscription drain isn't limited to the obvious digital services. It has infected every category of spending, and the newer categories are more expensive and more psychologically sophisticated. The luxury subscription layer is the fastest growing segment of the subscription economy, and it is specifically targeting people who understand that paying for a Gucci bag outright signals fake wealth. So instead, they rent access to luxury. Rent the runway for designer clothing. Bag, borrow, or steal for handbags. Inspirato for luxury travel. Porsche Drive for exotic car access. These services are brilliant business models because they sell status without the upfront sticker shock. You're not spending $3,000 on a bag. You're spending $144 a month. And your brain evaluates that as $144. Never as $1,728 per year for the permanent experience of owning nothing. The fitness subscription layer has exploded since 2020. Peloton membership, gym membership, ClassPass, running app, lifting app, nutrition tracking app. The average fitness-conscious American now pays for 3.4 fitness-related subscriptions. They use 1.2 of them regularly. The productivity subscription layer quietly drains professionals. Project management tools, cloud storage across 3 providers because they signed up for each separately, note-taking apps, scheduling software, password managers, grammar checkers, VPNs, each one justified as a professional necessity. Together, they form a $200 a month productivity tax that most professionals never calculate. And the most insidious layer, the one almost nobody talks about, is the free trial pipeline. Companies have built sophisticated systems to convert free trials into paying subscriptions through a process of deliberate friction removal on entry and friction maximization on exit. Sign up in 30 seconds. Cancel through a support ticket that takes 3 business days to process. The industry term for trial to paid conversion optimized this way is dark patterns, and they are extraordinarily effective. A 2021 report from the FTC found that negative option marketing, meaning you're automatically charged unless you actively cancel, costs American consumers over $1 billion annually, just in unwanted charges from trials people forgot to cancel. So what do you actually do? Because the answer cannot be cancel everything and live digitally like it's 2003. Some subscriptions are genuinely valuable. The goal is not minimalism for its own sake. The goal is intentionality. knowing exactly what you're paying, exactly what you're getting, and making a conscious decision about whether that exchange is worth it. Here is the exact process. First, do the full audit. Not in your head, on paper or a spreadsheet. Go to your bank statement and your credit card statement for the last 3 months and highlight every recurring charge. Every single one. Include the annual charges you forgot about. Include the charges that come through PayPal or Apple Pay that don't show up as obviously. Most people find 3 to 5 subscriptions they had genuinely forgotten existed. The audit alone is usually worth $40 to $80 per month in instant savings. Second, apply the 90-day usage test. For every subscription you find, ask a simple question. Have I used this in the last 90 days? Not thought about using it, not intended to use it, actually opened it and gotten value from it. If the answer is no, cancel immediately without negotiating with yourself. You've already run the experiment. The data is in. You don't use it. The aspirational future you who will use it has been saying that for 3 months and has not shown up. Third, consolidate ruthlessly. You do not need 3 cloud storage services. Pick one. You do not need 4 streaming services running simultaneously. Watch what's on 2 of them, cancel the other 2, rotate in a few months when there's something new worth watching. The content isn't going anywhere. The rotation strategy costs you the same as 1 premium subscription and gives you access to everything over the course of a year. Fourth, set a subscription audit date. Put it in your calendar every 6 months. Subscriptions creep back. Free trials get started and forgotten. Annual renewals happen silently. A twice-yearly 30-minute audit is the maintenance cost of keeping the drain closed. Treat it like an oil change. It's not exciting. It is necessary. Fifth, and this is the one that requires the most mindset shift, redirect the canceled amount immediately and automatically. The moment you cancel $150 in subscriptions, set up an automatic investment transfer for that exact amount. Don't absorb it into general spending. Don't let it become restaurant money. The goal is to convert subscription waste directly into wealth. The $150 doesn't feel like a lot leaving your account every month toward investments, but we already ran that math. Over 31 years, it becomes $224,000. The number that matters is never the monthly number. It is always the compounded number. Here is the reframe I want to leave you with, because I think it changes how you evaluate every future subscription offer. The subscription economy is not selling you products or services. It is selling you a feeling. The feeling of having access. The feeling of being the kind of person who meditates, who stays current, who has options, who can watch anything, listen to anything, wear anything, drive anything. Access feels like wealth. It feels like abundance. But access that you own nothing from, access that builds no equity, access that disappears the moment you stop paying, is not wealth. It is the most sophisticated version of the same trap as the leased luxury car and the entry-level designer bag. You are renting the appearance of a rich life, one $12 charge at a time. Daniel canceled 14 subscriptions that afternoon. Not all of them. He kept Netflix, Spotify, the password manager, and 2 others he actually used. He canceled $218 per month in charges he either didn't remember, didn't use, or couldn't justify when forced to evaluate them honestly. He set up an automatic investment transfer for $200 of that the same day. He told Nate it felt like finding money he didn't know he had. But that's exactly wrong. He didn't find money. He stopped losing it. There's a difference. And for the last 3 years, the subscription economy had been counting on him never noticing that difference. Now you have. The question is what you're going to do tonight when you open your bank statement. If this changed how you think about your subscriptions, hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.